At Avicolli's. We are down the road from Liverpool High School, and we're on 7839 Oswego Road. And of course, right up the road, you can support your Warriors, and I suggest you do that with the boys' soccer team and with the Warriors all throughout every single sports season. As we are here tonight with Wake Up Call, I am here for part two with Captain Connor Lynch, as well as head coach Paul Bonus. Please give Connor and Coach a round of applause. Connor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I told you beforehand, you didn't get called out in any negative way by your fellow captains.
Yeah, I'm proud of that, and I'm thankful that the captains didn't call me out for anything.
You're proud and you're thankful?
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about your fellow captains here. Tell me about Evan. What do you think?
He's an interesting guy. He's
How to make sure, can you hear? Test. There we go. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Evan's an interesting guy, but he's my fellow captain, and
Okay.
I'm always gonna support anything he does.
He's an interesting guy, but you're always going to support him. Okay.
So,
What about Bobby?
Bobby's even more interesting, I would say.
Why is Bobby more interesting?
He just, I don't know. I think he has an interesting brain.
He has an interesting brain.
Yeah.
How so?
Just
I'm going to keep digging until this makes sense to me.
Just like his thought process and some of the stuff that he says some things without thinking sometimes.
He says things without. Would you agree that he laughs at everyone's jokes?
I don't think he laughs at everybody's jokes. I think he finds some weird things funny.
Find some weird things funny. Okay. Fair enough. Coach, how are you? Good to have you back.
It's good to be back, Dan. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So the last name Bonus, when it comes to a lot of success with that, and you are definitely a part of that. What does it mean to you to have that last name?
It's unique, that's for sure. Not a lot of people have it, so
Yeah.
I feel very, very special to have that last name.
Do you feel like for you, what you've worked to build at Liverpool is something that is on par with what you hoped for, or how do you see it?
What we're experiencing right now is something that we've always wanted to get back to. When I came on in 2009 as the assistant coach, things were good, and then we kind of sort of plateaued a little bit and really didn't build. And so when I took this on in 2019 as the head coach, this was always the goal, to get us back to being one of the best programs in the section in large schools and being recognized statewide, but just having a really competitive program.
And you took it on right before COVID. So how did you kind of navigate through that?
That was really difficult because, we were one of the only sports to play, and guys didn't want to wear masks, and I can't blame them. And that was definitely a difficult year because we played and we actually had somebody come down with COVID, so we all had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So we lost like 3 games, and then we had to come out and try to play 2 games after being off 2 weeks, and so that was difficult.
When you look back on that, what do you consider the biggest moment of adversity for you? Was it that as a coach, or was it something else?
No, coaching that year, and COVID wasn't the biggest adversity. I think when I took over, it was taking over after, Coach Nunn, who had been doing it for 20 years, and trying to, keep the level the same. The transition was difficult, and trying to put what I wanted to do on it. That was probably the biggest adversity. I think the first 2 years of just transition and trying to put my stamp on the program was really tough.
You feel like it's there now?
We're getting there.
You're getting there?
We're getting there.
You're very humble as opposed to the captains that were up here prior to. So, what is it? You said we're getting there. This season, like I mentioned, you start off with 4 wins and a tie before a loss, then you have another 4 before a loss, and you have 5 in a row. We look at all of that together, and we see the fact that that's 13 wins, it's a tie, and just a few losses. So when you look at that record and you reflect upon that record so far, you might say we're getting there. I would say people should be able to see it by now. What's still left in the tank?
We don't have a sectional championship.
Okay.
I mean, 3 years ago, we missed out on sectionals, which was a killer. That was something that hadn't happened in the program, and that weighed on me very heavily. And then the next year we came back and we made sectionals and hosted a game, and we lost in penalty kicks, and that was devastating to us. Last year, undefeated, we lose in the sectional championship. So I tell these guys all the time, you can win as many games as you want in the regular season,
Right.
but it's the wins in late October and early November that really sets you apart.
And when I look at regular season to the postseason, the regular season helps to get you there and it helps to seed you, right? But once you get to the postseason, it's 0-0. It's nothing. So what makes you think that this team can get over that hump and, mentally get to a place to win a sectional championship?
Have you seen these guys interact with each other? Do you hear the confidence in their voice?
Yeah.
I mean, they're confident. I am really blessed with this whole group. I have a group of guys that are committed to the sport. They play it all the time, and they're committed to each other, and they know what they want. They know last year that we took 15 seconds off in a game, and it cost us.
Yeah.
And that was a huge learning lesson for them. And I hope that that helps us this year. But I have a great group of guys. I have a great group of parents. The community is unbelievable. So we have it all. Really, we have it all. We just need to find a way to win. But when you get to sectionals, anything can happen.
Connor, what do you think? Where's this team at right now?
I think our team is in a better spot than we were last year. Even though we won a bunch of games last year, I think the feeling is just different, and I think we know what it takes to win now. I think our loss in the final last year really helped us realize that, like Coach always says, none of it matters until sectionals, and I think we have what it takes now.
What is it about the foundation of this team that makes you believe that you have what it takes?
I just think the confidence, and everybody just knows you, and we have to play a good game every time we step out there. So
Have you played your best game yet?
I don't think so.
What's left for you?
I think performances in the big games matter the most. So we haven't played any really huge games yet. The biggest games are now.
Mental health and mental toughness, not just in sports, but in life, is imperative. It's a huge part of everything. You can lift weights, you can run, you can watch film, you can scheme, but if mentally you don't believe you can do it and mentally you're not confident, you're not going to be able to do it. How are you more mentally tough and confident now?
I think now that I've been playing for 3 years, I think I've learned over the years, and I think my confidence is just, I think it's at the right spot where I know what I have to do and what job has to be done.
How did you become mentally strong?
A lot of adversity. I didn't play much my freshman year, so obviously that was hard going through that. And then we had a great team last year, and I wouldn't say I was one of the best players on the team last year. And then obviously losing that game in the final after not losing a game all year, it takes a toll on you mentally, and you have to learn from it.
Did you feel like you bounced back?
Yeah, I would say so.
Coach, what can you say about the mental toughness and mental fortitude of this specific team?
Well, we certainly have grown in that area this year. As the captains talked about it, we had some areas this year sometimes when we gave up games and we just kind of stopped playing a little bit. But when these guys really want to play, they can play. Like they were talking about the McQuaid game, and that was that had a state level playoff feel to it. They were very, very good, and we went out there and we played without. Bobby couldn't play. We had some other injuries, and Christian, one of our center backs, got hurt, and we had to change our formation to get back in the game, and they just battled to the end. We scored with 90 seconds left, and then we had an unfortunate. When these guys really want to play, and they really put their mind to it, we're really good.
before we get into rapid fire, y'all have to tell me.
He's a soccer gym rat. He loves the game. He works really, really hard. He's hard on himself. He wants the best for himself all the time, but he works really, really hard. He's a good teammate to his guys. He listens pretty well, and he's a good student. I have him in class, so he's a good student.
Connor, would you agree? Are you a good student in Coach Bonus's class?
Well, besides from when he took my phone in class, I think I've been pretty good.
What class does he teach?
U.S. history.
U.S. history. What were you doing on your phone?
I was texting my girlfriend.
You were texting your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Are you guys still dating?
Well, it's kind of complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
So was it worth texting her during class?
Well, we weren't really together at the time, and
okay.
we're technically still not, but I'm making progress.
You're making progress. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you regret losing your phone?
No, I think it was a good learning point. I had to tell her I can't text her in class anymore. So.
It was a good learning point. What class was she in when she was texting you?
Either study hall or earth science.
Study
I
hall
don't
or
remember
earth
what day it was.
Okay. All right. So let's get into rapid fire. You get to ask me the first question, Connor. What do you got for me?
All right, my question for you is, obviously this is your love, but what are your hobbies outside of this, and what do you like to do when you're not doing this?
I like to play basketball. I like to sing. I've been doing that since I was 3. So that comes from my mom and my grandfather. So I would say music, basketball. I like to travel. This month alone, I was at the ACC tip-off in Charlotte, and I was visiting a client for Superpowered Pop in Cornelius, North Carolina. Then I virtually did a Texas event. Then I went to New York City for New York Comic Con. Then I went back to New York City after my birthday for the Big East Media Day for men's and women's basketball. So I like to travel a lot, and I haven't really been to a lot of places outside the country, so I want to work on that. And I would say, what else do I like to do? I like to walk. I like to just get my cardio in, take care of my body, stay fresh, stay healthy. I would like the best version of myself to be right now. So that's important to me. All right, Connor. Connor, you have to choose a food that's going to be like your thing. Like Avicolli's is going to make the Connor. What is it going to be and why?
Any food?
Yeah, you can pick anything, but they're going to make you this, and it's going to be on the menu tomorrow morning. What's it going to be?
I would probably say, I don't know, you're putting me on the spot. I would probably say like a bowl, like a rice bowl. I really like those.
A rice bowl?
Yeah.
What are you going to put in it?
Cheese, lettuce, chicken, all that type of stuff.
All right, the first rice bowl here at Avicolli's. I like it.
Yeah.
Coach, what do you got for me?
A question for you.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to high school?
You guys are gonna boo if I say it.
Come on.
I went to Christian Brothers Academy. They said it's all right. I heard all right over here. It was my dad's alma mater, so my dad gave me 2 choices, and I didn't like the other choice.
Okay. How did you get into this profession?
I got into this profession because how did I get in? Well, I went to college and I told this guy Brandon Smith that I wanted to broadcast and I'd love to commentate a game, and this is why I'm celebrating 21 years. It was November 2003, and I was doing laundry, and I had this collapsible blue laundry bag, and I had the laundry up on the washer at my residence hall, and I was putting the last quarter in, and he called as I was holding on to the quarter, and he was like, "Hey man, we don't have anybody to call the men's basketball game tonight. I know it's something that you always wanted to do. Could you get over here?" And I said, "When?" And he said, "Right now." And it was 12 minutes before the game started. I had no idea who we were playing. I didn't know the pronunciation of anybody's name. And I went there, I did it. They asked me to do it again. And they said, we want to do it on TV and radio simultaneously to Northeast PA. Put it out in the community. They said, not only they said we like it because you're funny, like the person, they liked what we were what I was doing. And they said, we're going to do it at least for men's. And I said, well, we have double headers for men's and women's basketball. And this is back when people didn't cover women's sports because they didn't think it was important, and I thought that was stupid. So they said, I said, are we doing men's and women's? And they said, we're going to do men's at least. And I said, well, I'm not going to come in here and set up for a men's game during a women's game and show them that I'm putting all the stuff up, but it's not for them. So I said, if I'm coming, we're doing both. And 21 years ago, I decided to cover men's and women's sports. And I'm happy to see that the rest of the media in the last 2 to 3 years thought that it was maybe important to cover women's athletics. So before I go forward, can we clap it up for women's sports, please? So, yeah, that's how I got started. Brandon called me. And then I said something out. We were at halftime, and it wasn't this game, but I said something. I said a joke to him because, like I told you, I like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So I said a joke to him. And my buddy Steve was in the radio. He was in the radio booth, and so I said something inappropriate. I'm not going to say it today, and I didn't swear or anything, but I just said something funny, and I said it to Brandon, and nobody said anything. And then I was on the air, and we were simultaneously out to 10,000 people at least on radio and 10,000 people on TV. So while I'm doing the game, we're a couple minutes into the second half. And I'm looking back and forth, and I'm calling the game, and Brandon's in my ear, and he goes, hey, don't stop talking, don't respond to me. But when I told you we were off the air, we were off of TV. But Steve thought he shut you off, and he didn't know how to, so you just told 10,000 people the joke that you just said to me. And in that moment, I was calling the game, and I said into the microphone, I was like, in Brandon Smith, I meant every word I said. And I still remember that. So some people might think that was like an embarrassing moment, but to me it was funny. I know exactly what I said, I'm just not going to say it. So, all right, Mike, come to a comedy night that I'll do somewhere, and I'll let you know what I said. So my final question of the night goes to you, Coach. I got asked this question last night, and it moved me. So, living or deceased, who is the person that you would want to interview and why?
You realize you're asking a history teacher this question, right?
I am asking you. Yeah.
There are two people that come to mind. One is JFK,
Okay.
and the other is Gandhi.
Is Gandhi.
Yeah.
I want to know why both. Why JFK and why Gandhi?
I think JFK, for the person that he was, as young as he was, I would like to understand what it was like to live back then, what it was like to be president during such a turmoil time in society. And then Gandhi, because he was steadfast in his beliefs. He didn't let anybody change what he did. He stood up for what he wanted, and he inspired people worldwide, right? And it takes him to do that. So those are two people that I would love to interview. I mean, there's thousands more that I could name off the top of my head. These guys are probably yelling at me like, why didn't you pick a soccer guy? Well, those are just two people that I would definitely love to interview.
Well, you know, what I find interesting is Gandhi said two things that really stick with me. One of the things he said was, be the change you want to see in the world. And another thing that I might be paraphrasing to an extent, I think, but hopefully I'm saying it right, is, you know, people were saying, if you know they're going to keep throwing you in jail, why do you keep doing this? And he said, they can chain down my body, but they can't chain down my spirit.
That's correct.
And I truly, genuinely feel that way. I feel like, figuratively or literally speaking, if you are who you are, they can chain down whatever, but they can't chain you down. And so my last note with Connor Lynch up here and head coach Paul Bonus for Liverpool boys soccer is to tell you two things. One, you know where to be tomorrow night, Wednesday, October 30th at 5 p.m. in Fulton, watching them go up against CNS. And well, I have three things. Two, I hope that y'all get that championship you were hoping for. And the third thing that I have to say is, no matter what stands against you, remember that from the inside out, happiness comes from within. And I know some people have a belief, and I know some people don't, and I know some people are different, but I do truly believe if God stands for you, what does it matter who stands against you? So I just want to let you know tonight, whatever adversity you're fighting, whether you tell people or not, I hope you believe in yourself. I hope you know that you can do it. And if any single one of you ever has an issue, tell Coach to get in touch with me and I'll come speak to you. And I'll make sure that you guys believe in yourselves, because you should. And there's never a day that you should waste. So God bless, and go Warriors.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.